So to go along with any soups or stews or sauces I like to make, I do bake very simple breads quite often. I can either do it in the oven and make a proper bread. Not particularly good at that thing, but I do like it, and I do really like the taste of homemade bread. Store-bought bread really doesn't do the trick for me most of the time. So right now I'm going to show you an absolutely idiot-proof bread that anyone can make. It's very simple, and you don't even need any measurements to do it, really. So this is going to be a very short video. We're going to start off with a stainless steel bowl. You don't have to use stainless, don't worry. You can use any bowl you've got. See, I've got some flour in this horrendously ugly little yellow bowl. So yeah, and just as I taught you a bit earlier, no measuring, nothing at all. And if that frightens you, don't let it frighten you, really. A pinch of baking soda or baking powder, just a little pinch, hardly any. A bit of olive oil, and a splash of water or milk. Now, just get a spoon or something if you don't want to get your fingers dirty. I don't want to get my fingers dirty today, so I'll be using a spoon. Stir it through until it starts to combine, and once it's got into a very ignore that. Once it's starting to form a cohesive little dough, see, it's a bit crumbly. Just get the remaining little bits off of your spoon. Just keep rolling it, twisting it, turning it, beating it, whatever. Doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that all of these little bits in here start to get incorporated into one little bit of dough, which doesn't take very long at all, as you can see. I actually have a friend who works kind of as a chef de patisserie in Belgium, and if he sees this he's probably going to curse me, but you know, he's already tall and I'm short, so life really is unfair and unequal. And if I have to be confronted by the fact that he's 190 and I'm only 172, and he's going to be confronted by the fact that I just don't follow any rules when it comes to baking or cooking or whatever. Really? Now, once you've got this little dough ball, lightly flour your workspace, really lightly for this little ball, and just knead it. See, Niels, I am following your instructions a little bit at least, developing the gluten in my dough, even if I'm only going to hardly do that, but still. Also not following your instructions on kneading, I think, right now. Now, go. That's better. There's only a little bit of dough, so if I knead this for about 2 minutes, maybe even less, it'll probably work out. Yeah, it's probably getting angry at me. I'm insulting bread, I think. But you know what? Our ancestors didn't even have oil. They just had very coarsely ground flour, tossed some water in it, started kneading, and had dough. So, you know, always doing things a bit better than they are. Of course, I'm not a Neanderthal or anything like that. Fun fact, most of us, modern humans, do have a bit of Neanderthal blood in us. Neanderthals did classify as a separate species of human. Us Homo sapiens managed to exterminate every other instance of humanoid species except for most, well, large apes. Yeah. Lovely, right? I mean, can you imagine that maybe, possibly, we would have had similar species to humans as we are, Homo sapiens, but not as in Caucasian or African American or whatever, but really Neanderthal and not Neanderthal, or Pygmies. I think Pygmies went extinct. I'm not sure if Pygmy is an insult, but If so, I'm sorry. There we go. Here we have our dough. It's nice and elastic. Quickly forming a little ball out of it. Go. Now I'm going to get my rolling pin. Another little pinch of flour. A bit too much actually. I'm just going to quickly roll this out. I didn't even bother to add salt, which is in all honesty a mistake. Add salt. I'm just going to roll some salt into the dough though, so it's all going to wind up rather decent. You don't have to worry about the shape. This is going to be a quick little flatbread. Let's see if we can at least make it somewhat of a round shape. Flour your rolling pin. That's my tip. There we go. Got a little bread. Just going to get a pan, medium-high heat, or high heat in this case. Now I've got some coarse sea salt here. Really coarse. I like my bread to be salty, and I'm just going to add all of these little bits of salt to it. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm picking up the salt I just tossed all over it, all over my workspace, really. Now again, stop your rolling pin from sticking to your dough. A little bit of flour, your rolling pin, and just press your salt into the dough. Same can't be easier. And now you have some of the simplest bread dough in the history of mankind. Okay, now that our pan's up to temperature, make sure it's nice and hot. Doesn't even need any oil in it, which is wonderful. So you'll have to excuse this sloppy camera work for a minute. You're just going to get your dough and place it right in this hot pan. And well, this is where you start waiting. That's all you do. You can move it around a little bit, don't worry. Just leave it there, it'll puff up slightly. This is a very simple bread, so don't expect too much in terms of rising. There's actually, aside from the baking soda, nothing in it that could possibly act as a leavening agent. So this is going to stay very flat. Now I added a bit of 5-spice to it, just to give it a bit more flavour. I like 5-spice powder, so adding it to a bit of bread really is a no-brainer for me. Turn it around. See how it's slowly starting to get a bit more colour. Because there's olive oil in it, it's going to crisp up slightly. Yeah, I don't think there's many flatbreads that you can make a lot easier. And of course, while I'm talking, I keep forgetting to properly film, so you'll have to forgive me. Well, you don't have to, but I'd very much appreciate it if you did. So don't burn your fingers, it happens. Now I'll just time skip to when it's done. Alright, looks about done. Needs about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Of course, bigger breads take a bit more time. You can also cook these on an open fire, which is fine. You want to look for a bit of charring or, well, caramelization, I suppose. A bit of browning is probably the best way of describing it. And that's it, you're done. And make sure you don't burn your fingers. Hot. There you have it. A very simple bread that literally anyone can make. Easy, right?